be connected. Torah in general, we spoke about, is higher than time and place. And because of that, because Torah is higher than time and place, therefore, it can connect and associate things that are far away, like when two people separate from each other. They're separated by time and place. So Torah, which is beyond time and place, and rules over time and place, can join them together. But what is specific about halacha? So we explained that halacha is something that reveals the essence of the Eibishter, being that it comes from the level of the Rot, so it connects down here in the practical physical world, the level of that's beyond understanding, beyond reason, etc. In similar vein, because it brings down this type of level, it's beyond Seder Ishtalshlus, and it also joins Arich and Zerampin, that's Adam and Chavere we spoke about. In a similar vein down here, it could bring down could bring about the connection and the association between two Yidden, the Achdus between two Yidden, and it also has this type of, it also reflects the Yerida of the Neshama down here below, that even down here below, the Neshama is connected above, and this is all because the level of Halacha, which is the Rasa of Hashem, the way it reveals itself down here. So now the Rebbe is going to go back to what it said in the Maimer concerning that the Maimer brought down, the Maimer Chazal of Adam Harishon. It says that Adam Harishon, only a land that he decreed that will be settled, that was to be settled. And we want to understand the connection between that Maimer Chazal, Yipter on Maxhabero, and what's also the connection that what Adam Harishon saying and making that it should be settled. Seemingly, this is to be found even without Adam Harishon, that the world was created in such type of way that it should be already complete and perfect. Those places that are hospitable and habitable were made that way. So what is it about specifically the idea that we say place that Adam Harishon made it and decreed it to be set? So we're holding on line 12, page Ches. That the Gemara immediately follows this issue concerning which shows on the union and the revelation of the highest levels down here, with the idea of what Adam made inhabited, the way Adam Harishon decreed what should be considered an inhabited place. The concept behind this is by Adam Harishon was revealed the idea that he was formed by the palms of Hashem. This is what it says in the pasuk, that he blew into his nostrils a soul of life, that Adam Harishon had Hashem form him and send a neshama straight into it. And this is not just limited to Adam Harishon, similar to this, every single Yid reflects and is similar to Adam Harishon as well. It used to be Gemara Sanhedrin, like it's brought down Gemara Sanhedrin. Therefore, a person was born single, alone, not like all other creation. Animals were created, all the animals of a species were created together. It wasn't just a single male, let's say, and a single female of a certain birds were created, and single. It wasn't that way. Only Adam was different and distinct, and all other creations, they was create a single person. Why is it? To teach you that that every single person is valuable, and whoever destroys a single soul, it's as if he destroyed an entire world. Whoever gives life to a single soul, as if he made the whole world exist. What does that mean? The Gemara obviously is likening a single Jewish person to Adam. Line 19, Kadesh Kol Lechem Yisrael, so that every single Yid, every place and every time, that for his sake the world was created. Therefore, every single Yid is in control of the world, just like Adam. And this idea of ruling and controlling the world that every Yid has, top of page test, there are two components. One aspect is the Eretz Shegazer Allah Yishu, a land that was decreed upon it to be settled and inhabited. Eretz Shaloi Gazer Allah Yishu. Then there's the other component, the land that was not decreed upon it to be settled and hospitable. Lawless in general, in the Eretz Shegazer Allah Yishu, of a land that he decreed upon it to be settled to Inyan Havoida Dasei Toiv Mitzvah. It's the avoida of the doing good, the positive command. You're engaging with the world. You're settling it. You're elevating it. You're transforming it. The Eretz like Gazer al Yishuv, a land that he did not decree upon it to be settled. Who inid the surmerats, an idea of turning away from bad. Mitzvahs loisad, the negative commandments, meaning just like physically, it's not a place that's habitable, that's also spiritually shows it's not a place to engage in, it's a place to remove oneself from. That's the idea of loises, negative commandments, the things that we're not supposed to do, the things we're not supposed to engage in. Avol flows a kavon about the mitzvahs, loises, the general intention in the avoid of a mitzvah of the negative, the lasis mokim muksher, it's to be able to make a ready place. That in that place should be the drawing down of the good through the positive commandments. In other words, even the lois asay is not just another option, but the lois is in service of the as. In other places, the Rebbe brings down the mashal that, for example, when we are preparing a home for the king, so we prepare a house for the king, first we have to get rid of all the schmutz and all the negative and all the things that don't belong there. Once we clean it out of all those things, then we can bring down all the things that are here, including the king himself. The same thing, the loisa says are in service of the es. The loisa says to clear away all the schmutz and all the cobwebs and all the dust and dirt. Then that the completion of that is when we have the mitzvah, the bringing down of the Yipter himself. Then it goes on line 8, especially after one has accomplished the loisase and has drawn about also the hamshach of the asay, when it goes up above, the mitzvah loisa till it becomes reveal the source and the root of mitzvah loisa. In other words, like this. Up till now, we said that loisa says in service of the as. Now he's saying further that loisa has its own higher root than as. It is from the Tikkun Zoyar. The root of the negative commandments, that's in the letters Yud Kev Shem Yud Kev Vav Ke. In other words, a higher level of Yud Kev Vav Ke. Through the level of Yud Kev Shem Avai, through the mitzvahs loises, it comes down, not just from the level of it's called the haniglois, the revealed levels. And Chassidus divides the words vehaniglois into vav k niglois, that the letters vav k of yud k vav k is the part that's revealed, because the vav k is the levels of the midas, and we know midas is a level of for someone else, so therefore it's a level of revelation. But through the loisas, we're not just limited to the vav k, which is niglois, Elagam Kinas Yudke, but rather through the level of Loisa, we draw down also from the level of Yudke, Jaheim Hanistoris Lavayalakenu, the level of Yudke, as opposed to what it says, Haniglois Lanu Lavanenu, but the pasuk goes on, Hanistoris Lavayalakenu, what's concealed is for Hashem our God. But through the mitzvahs Loisa, we tap into and draw down that which is concealed, higher than above, the level of Yudke, that they should come down here below in a revealed way. To such a degree, we bring down such a great revelation, that becomes a higher level, in a higher manner in service, beyond the level of the two divisions of the positive and the negative commandment. After the introduction of bending and sublimating the klippah, which is what Loisa says about not doing, and therefore sublimating the klippah to kedusha. So there's a higher level. Comes the avoid of transforming darkness to light, and bitter to sweet. That we transform the bad, and we even make it into good. Until what it says about Mashiach's times, that the night itself will shine like day. Night indicating negative, and day indicating positive, and the night will be like day. So, in other words, will be beyond the definitions and separations of negative versus positive, because we'll come from such a high level that even the negative can be transformed to illuminate. Next paragraph. This is a close preparation. Much kosev b'tilim, for it says in Tehillim, that his glory will fill the entire earth. That year was Tafshin Lamed Gimel, and the Rebbe said this Maimer, Koyach Nisan Tafshin Lamed Gimel. That was when the Rebbe started saying this capital of Tehillim, capital Ayin Beis. It was his 71st birthday. And over there it says the pasuk that his glory will fill the entire earth. The exact expression over here is the entire earth. We just now said that Adam Rishon decreed certain places to be inhabited, certain places not to be inhabited. But the glory of Hashem will fill every part of the earth, not just limited to the habited places. I knew both the lands Hashem decreed upon it to be settled and inhabited. Both the land that Hashem did not, or Adam Rishon, did not decree upon it to be inhabited. It's not applicable. It's not possible to say about it that the beauty of a person is to be settled in a house. Siddur expands to mean the L'Shavas Boyis is not just the idea of the person's own private home, but the beauty is when it's a dir leis barach, when it's a home for Hashem. So if you're dealing with level of loisas, you're dealing with the eretz asher loy gozer alal yishuv, a land that was not decreed upon it to be inhabited. So it has nothing to do with dir, but achtoinim sim. The Rebbe concludes in the the ultimate purpose of the avodah is that his glory, that Hashem's glory, should fill the entire earth. Also the land that he did not decree upon it to be settled. Even more so, over there, they draw down from an even higher place. Since the Hamshach comes about through the avoid of transforming darkness to light, top of page Yud, bitter to sweet, until the night will shine like day. Kaniska Leila, we mentioned before. And as we know, that the Kadiskafi of the to be able to really tap into the level of the glory of the Eibishter in all the worlds, that's only when there's the idea of Ishapcha and Iskafia and so on. And then even a place where it's loy gazer alel yishuv can now be transformed and become a place that's an inhabited place, a place where it's a dira for Hashem. Of page Yud Oizdal. Here, Ratzon the Rebbe concludes with a bracha to be the will of Hashem. All of this should be fulfilled by every single Yid amongst the entire Klal Yisrael. And this idea of the causing a land that's inhabited and a land that's not inhabited to be filled with the glory of Hashem. So the Rebbe says every Yid could have this fulfilled, this type of revelation by them, and especially those that are traveling in the shlichus of Dvar Mitzvah Torah as a representative and as a mission for a matter of a mitzvah or Torah. Again, he was sent. This was when he was sending the first group of Bachrim to Australia to the yeshiva. So it's not just a shlichus of Dvar Mitzvah, but it's a Torah shlichus. It's a shlichus of establishing and strengthening the yeshiva over there. What one might expand this and say that Australia was looked as a, an uninhabited, wasteland. Yes, there was a real about the community that the Frierdiker Rebbe encouraged and the Rebbe encouraged to settle, but it's about the transformative nature. The Rebbe is talking about taking a land that was not inhabited and making it a place for the Eibishter, just like Australia was like an uncivilized place until fairly recently. It was turned from a penal colony into a place where you have a yeshiva where shluchim are being sent. The Rebbe goes on the concept of this shlichus that he's sending these bachrim. Hashem etzadik ever can nu v'darka yechpas. That from Hashem, the steps of a person was prepared. So in other words, the fact that a person is traveling somewhere, this is by Hashem's directive. And also, the Rebbe is going to be medayik a lot on the end of the pasuk. It says, and his way he will desire. The way of the person, Hashem will desire. What is the idea of desire? So Chassidus always speaks about will to be referring only to the external will, that I'm not really interested in it, I'm just doing it for some ulterior motive. I want to work because I want the money, or I want the money because I want to eat, etc. So the pnimius haratz and the desire is my survival and my food, etc., etc. So the Rebbe says that's called chayfetz. Chayfetz is what I truly desire and enjoy. So the Rebbe is saying, what's the connection between the beginning of the pasuk and the end of the pasuk? That Hashem prepares the steps of a person so that the chayfetz of Hashem should become revealed. So Hashem's desire to become revealed. The drawdown over there, Hashem's desire. And this is the inner will. If it's the inner part of Hashem's will, so that's the inner part of the entire chain order of descent after the will of above. Should come down the way of every single person. That the pnimius of Hashem's will is coming down into whatever travels, whatever road I'm taking throughout my entire lifetime in this world, until the ultimate idea, what's the purpose of a road? To be that the person should be considered a traveler, not like the malachim that are called oimdim, standing still, because they're always within the same level, whereas a person, his job is to be a traveler. That's why it says darka yechpatz, because on the way you become a traveler. Yasas kol olam l'mahalik, he will make the entire world to be in that type of way of going out of its limitations and being a traveler. Is so too in a person's individual service, in his specific service, not just the big world, but his own private service. concerning whatever type of mission he is on, like we're talking about the Bachram were being sent on the mission of opening up or strengthening the yeshiva in Australia. Especially a mission that's connected with spreading Torah, spreading the wellsprings specifically. In such a way of study that brings to action. It's not just spreading of Torah, but it's spreading of Torah that will transform and bring about action. Fulfilling mitzvahs with care and beautification. And also in this, there should be revealed the desire of Hashem in the person's way. After beginning what we said before, how did the two people separate? That the other person should go on the mission. That's through the Dvar Halacha, because the Dvar Halacha is the manifestation of Hashem down here in this world. Then they will affect that it should be increased in all the things that have to be settled. Again, it seems to me that that was like referring to Australia being like this relatively unsettled, empty country, and the shluchim that he's sending over there is to increase the spiritual habitation and settlement of a place, which means to make a dirla is better to make a home for the Eibishter. She is a bedachim noyam bedachim shalom. That should be in a way, in pleasant ways, and in ways of peace. Again, playing on the word of traveling and roads, and the road he desires, and that road is a peaceful and pleasant way. Play from the miyad in a way of an immediate way that Hashem has a home down here below. Similar to this is concerning a land that was not decreed upon by Adam Addition to be settled. When it comes in a person's own individual avodah, those things that were not meant to be settled. So first he begins in a way of his kafir. First he begins in sublimating and bending the clipper and turning away from that. That's only step one. The ultimate is in this until they will affect the idea that the darkness should be transformed to light and bitter should be transformed to sweet. And like we brought before concerning Mashiach's time, that the night will shine like the day. Then the Hashem's glory will fill the entire earth, also in the part of the earth that was mentioned before. That's loises, that wasn't meant to be settled, but Hashem's glory will fill that as well, because we transformed and turned over the darkness to the light, the bitter to the sweet. And the effect of in all these things shall be in the way of his desire. Desire, in addition to be the pnimis haratzon, is related to delight. What's the significance of doing things in the way of delight? We know that delight broadens all the powers and energies. That's why it says the pasuk Shmua Toiv Dadashin Otzim, a good news makes the bone, the fat swell. In other words, the whole story of Rabbi Zakkai was Vespasian, that he couldn't take one shoe off and he couldn't put one shoe on because of his good news that he heard about him being appointed Caesar. So the same thing, Tainug, the power of the light, increases all types of powers, not just the physical body, but my intellect and my emotions and even my will becomes broadened and increased through the delight. So that's the Rebbe is saying we should do this whole avodah darkly in the way of yechbatz in our delight. And therefore, it broadens all the powers. Line 28, Hachol Ma'aratzon, beginning from our will, Shu Pinas Makif, the will is a Makif Dikakoya. And that becomes broadened and increased and fattened up through the delight and enjoyment that I have. Meaning, my will to do something is obviously increased when I have an enjoyment in that thing that I want. all the inner powers that's below us, and like we said before, the intellect and the emotions, all these things are increased and broadened through the enjoyment. That's why it says in other Amarim, he always brings down it's a person should always study in a part of Torah that he has a desire in, because the enjoyment and the pleasure that he has in that topic will help him be more successful in his learning. Because what we just now said, delight increases the power of intellect, for example. And standing in the days of Sfira, should be fulfilled, all the explanations in the word of Sfira. Sfira means counting, and Sfira is relating, and the Marchsidah says, and Sfira is also the word of sapphire stone, until the explanation. That's from the word a sapphire stone. To Inyan Ha'or is the idea of light, machen lichtig, to make it become illuminated. And so therefore the Sfira should be a time of illumination for everybody. Top of the last page, so you fulfill the individual mission of every person individually and the general mission of Klal Yisrael. Lastly, is to make a home for the Eibishter down below. And very soon we will go to receive the Torah with joy and internally in general, meaning this is the wish, like that I've always quotes that the Frierdiker Rebbe used to wish for Shavuos, Kabbalah Satorah B'Simcha Pnimis. Well, the Yuchad specifically will go L'Kabel Pnei Mashiach Tzedkenu, to greet Mashiach She'ozi in Pnimis HaTorah. When Mashiach comes, it will be the inner level of Torah, Terasish for Mashiach. Mashiach's Torah will be begoli revealed with a simcha to levav, out of joy and gladness of heart.